Hello, hello. We are here for our weekly energy oracle forecast, where we are taking a look at the week ahead to see what the next 7 or 8 days have in store for us. This is like our spiritual, energetic weather for the week. We have just come through Yom Kippur, which was Friday and Saturday. We drew down the light of our new soul that we have been petitioning for since Rosh Hashanah. I did the fast, so I didn't make a video last night. So thank you for you guys' patience. The high holidays that I observe have now come to a conclusion. I do pay attention to Sukkot, but it's not, I don't like tune in for like the whole shebang. So that was pretty tiring. I was a pretty burnt to a crisp little cookie last night. I just had no more energy. I fell asleep after I nibbled on some cheese and had to take a nap for a long time. And then I was just like, there was nothing left in me for the video. So I thought I would just resume today and we'd pick back up where we left off. All right. So the first thing that we've got out is uncovering. We are uncovering the transformation that is happening in our hearts. I feel like we are uncovering the light that has been buried under layers of pain and fear and insecurity and indecision and lack and disappointment. All of those things build layers around our inner light over our lives. And just I'm going to say just this, but we've been working towards the end of a very long cycle for a very long time. And on this channel, we've been talking about how we've been preparing to jump to a new timeline. It's going to be like a major life change. Well, as it has come out in the last year, astrologers have been talking about the end of Pluto's retrograde in Capricorn. This is the last year that it would be in retrograde in Capricorn. So all of this 15-year-long cycle has been basically like pelting us with lesson after lesson after challenge after challenge. And it's been very difficult, but this has been the difficult ways that life has made us stronger, given us more grit, given us our structure and our discipline and our sense of self and our sense of strength. And so it's like now we're kind of shaking off the ash and the dust of the fire and the flames of it all. And we're embodying all that we've learned and all that we've gained from those 15 years of difficulty for sure. And this is what we're uncovering. It's like, oh, wow, we're starting to realize how our hearts have grown. They've grown deeper and stronger and more compassionate. But it's taken a little bit of polishing, right? Through all of that, there's been, so many emotions, right? So many probably cycles of grief that we've gone through where we've bargained and we've been angry and bewildered and disoriented. And so now it's like the dust is settling. We've been able to release a lot of that suffering and pain and come to a level of acceptance. And we've transformed those shadow aspects of self, the pain from the past, all of that darkness that's put those layers around the heart. We've broken through them and we're ready to move into this new cycle, like lighter and brighter and stronger and with a deeper, sustained essence of peace within and like a sense of fulfillment that's starting to bloom and to blossom and to bud. So I think we're uncovering now, we're seeing like, oh my gosh, I've really come a long way. I see that if this had happened to me years ago, how I would have reacted. And now it's like no big deal kind of thing. And so I think we're starting to realize the growth through these moments of like, oh, okay, I can see this now where we're confronted with life and we're handling it in such a different way where we can see the change that, we didn't realize was happening over years and years and years and years. It's like suddenly it's all caught up and we can see it more clearly and we can honor that and appreciate that. And we can appreciate where we've come from because, think about the that you were in 2008. You know, and think about all the challenges and the difficulties that life brought you over those 15 years and how unprepared you were to meet them and what kind of person you are now and how tough and resilient and strong and also sensitive and caring and compassionate. It's like we've become so much more emotionally and spiritually intelligent since that time. We've awakened, you know, we're not unconscious in the ways that we were before. We still always have a long way to go, but we've really learned to appreciate all that we've been through. We have the worship card here, which is just being so grateful for it all and really appreciative of even the challenging things that we've gone through, because it has made us the person that we are today. And we see the people who are still not awake, and we see the people who are just recently awakening, and we're so appreciative, like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I'm not just getting started, you know. And it makes you thankful because, you know, in this day and age, there's so much more intensity than there was in 2008 just in the world. And so can you imagine not having the faith that you've built over these 15 years, or the certainty in the Creator, like being in this world today, just starting to figure it out, just starting to go deeper? That would be rough. So yes, I am appreciative that my soul and my personality were capable of leaning into it over the last 15 years. Because for those of us who have been doing the work, we are at the end of that cycle, you guys. Like the hard part, the most difficult part, not to say the hard part is over. There's always going to be challenges in life, but it's not going to be anything like it's been for the past 15 years. I mean, I was reading something earlier and it made me think, they're like, oh, if you're all the cardinal signs are going to have a drastically different life because they've all been pounded for the last 15 years. I'm like, oh my God, I'm a triple cardinal sign. Makes sense. Like it feels like nothing has ever worked out for me. Like nothing. Like if you guys have been with me on this channel, you've realized that like I've made a video every day for 3 years and I'm still getting 20 views per video, right? So to think this cycle's coming to an end and things can possibly be different and maybe more successful and maybe easier, I'm like so grateful. I'm like, yeah, bring it on. I can't wait. I can't imagine a life of like ease. Can't even imagine. So I'm excited. I'm excited to connect with that new novel essence. All right. Uncovering appreciation, uncovering gratitude, uncovering deep inner peace and fulfillment. Uncovering our dharma. This is our life purpose. This is our destiny, right? The dharma that we have is not only what we're like our life purpose is and what we're destined to do and what how we're destined to use our life and our talents and our gifts, but it's also all of the contracted experience that we went through to gain the tools and the knowledge and the wisdom and the insight that it takes to fulfill our purpose. So in Hebrew, the term is tikkun. And tikkun is the contracts that your soul has to work out in each life. Your soul you have with you over different lifetimes. And you take it with you and you keep elevating it and you keep progressing it and you keep transforming it and transmuting that soul. And so that in and of itself is our life purpose. But within each life, we have like more honed in specificities about our purpose, right? Like maybe there's work that we do out in the world where we share with others or we help others in some way or we teach what we know or whatever. But it's usually our wounds and our experiences that challenge us, that prepare us for that life purpose. So nothing is wasted. It's like Chiron, the wounded healer. It's the very wound that was inflicted on Chiron that gave him the lessons and the ability to teach and heal others. So same, it's like all of these challenges that we've gone through over the last 15 years have given us the tools in our toolkit and the qualities and the virtues that we need to be able to fulfill our purpose and to be able to blossom into our higher potential. This is like the awakening of the oversoul and the higher self. And with that is coming so much more stability. This came out with Dharma. So things are really aligning and things are starting to get more secure and more solid. You might just like the changes in the wind have been blowing through, and it might be subtle at first, but this is going to be growing into more stability, more security, more abundance. Generally speaking, it's like you've been doing all the disciplinary work over the past 15 years to set yourself up to be able to create stability for yourself, even if it doesn't seem like, even if you haven't witnessed or experienced stability yet. That's going to be something that we're going to have in the next cycle. It's going to be more easeful. There's going to be more harmony. We're building from a stronger place. We're building from like more robust materials. You know, we've been gathering our wherewithal and our senses and our virtue and our strength and all of that over the past few years. And we've been getting rid of anything that's not really in alignment with our authenticity. It's not really, in alignment with our higher path or our higher self or our higher destiny. So we've been clearing the ground of things that don't belong in our life so that we have space to open up for the things that are that do resonate with us, that are in authentic alignment with our path. It's interesting, like for me, I worked in TV and film and video production for most of my adult life for over 13 years. And during that most challenging time, never felt like anything worked out. And it was like my dream growing up to be in film. And I thought that was my life purpose. But honestly, the whole time I was in film, it's like that was also when I started to learn more about spirituality and spiritual modalities and things like that. And it's like I always had this tug that I was supposed to be like this mystic or this like spiritual teacher. And it wouldn't leave me alone until I gave that my full-time attention and gave my really committed to it. And that's what happened. I left film and video. I got a job at a restaurant that, served dinner at night. So I just work at nights. And I spend my days and after work making content to teach people spiritual concepts. And I don't know. It's like I had to get rid of the things that were in the way of that. In the film industry, it felt like it gave me a lot of freedom because I would have gigs. And so when I was working gigs, I would be working, but then I would have gaps of time off. But I wasn't able to stay consistent. I wasn't able to build stability and consistency with the spiritual business. And so I retired from the film industry, what was, on the outside, like a more impressive or successful seeming career than maybe, what someone would perceive as like a server at a restaurant, and like a YouTuber. But this is like more deeply fulfilling to me. And I feel like I am living and working in my purpose now. And that's deeply fulfilling. And I feel that when we make those sacrifices, we don't have maybe an instant guarantee, but over time it will grow. And I'm feeling like things are about to have a growth spurt. It's like I can feel it. It's like pushing against the edge of reality. There's this tension, almost like a positive tension, like an anticipation that's growing. And it feels like good things are right around the corner. And we keep having, everyone and their mother is talking about the fact that good things are coming. And this next cycle is going to be night and day what we've been going through for the past 15 years. So good things coming, stability, security. Things are going to get lighter. They're going to feel more abundant. Let's get one more card. Let's get one more card. See what it is. Get a little bit more. Too many cards. Just one card. They were all upside down, so I didn't see any of them. Ooh, merge. I'm feeling this. This is not surprising for me to see. So it's like we are merging with that higher self. That's been the whole aim recently, as the culmination of this work. We've been letting go of what is not the higher self. We've been letting go of aspects of the ego that are holding us back. And we've been like rehabilitating and reintegrating the aspects of shadow that we had rejected or hidden about ourselves that are legitimate aspects of our personality that once healed and refined actually become our greatest strengths. Like this, for instance, like some quality about yourself that you thought that would make you unlovable or would be something that would be shameful or embarrassing that you'd have to hide away. It's like when we refine that quality and we heal it and we redefine it and we reintegrate it, that can be the greatest strength that helps us, that helps our purpose. So integrating those shadow aspects, right? Like for instance, this could be one. If you were shamed for being a boisterous, animated person, especially if you were like a girl growing up in, certain times, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, a young girl, you're very theatrical, you're very loud, you're very boisterous. You may have been told that is unattractive, that men won't appreciate that they want you to be quiet, that they want you to be more, they would say feminine, but they would be implying that they want you to be pretty quiet and nice, be ladylike, don't make a big fuss, don't make a big scene, just behave yourself, be nice, be pretty, and be quiet. And so if you had a loud, animated personality, you might have felt like, oh my gosh, I've got to tone that down or else I'm not going to be attractive. Or I'm not going to be lovable. I'm not going to be, a viable option. I'm not going to be successful in life. Well, it just so happens that what if those were the personality traits that you needed to be successful in your purpose, right? My animated, theatrical boisterousness make me interesting to listen to when I'm talking on camera, right? They make me really fun to be around. They make a party a good time, right? So had I listened to that and put those aspects of myself in the shadow, I would have to be fighting to uncover my personality at this point in my life, right? I would have been too used to being oh, I got to be quiet. I've got to fit in. I've got to worry about what other people think, right? So that's what we mean by putting these aspects of self in the shadow. You're oh no, I'm going to be shamed for that. I'm not going to be accepted for this. But really those are once refined can be your greatest gifts that will help you in fulfilling your purpose. So we are merging those aspects and we are elevating them and we are merging with our higher self. So we've been, undoing all that's not our true self, which is when you think your higher self, think about if you were born and raised in some kind of perfectly climate controlled environment where you were never shamed, you didn't have any trauma, you didn't have any negative conditioning from society, you didn't have any limiting beliefs or fears, you just had perfect confidence in yourself, no smudges, just, great expectations, no big disappointments. So you think everything's going to work out, everything's really good, everything's always gone well, so why not now, right? So who would you be if you weren't afraid of how everything was going to turn out, if you weren't afraid of making a wrong decision, if you weren't afraid of failure, if you totally believed that you'd be supported and the resources would be there, if you had 100% confidence in yourself and no hangups about what people perceived or projected about you, that version of self that's completely free and liberated and confident and in touch with their gifts and their talents and their beliefs, and they're not timid, they're not indecisive, right? They know how to just make a choice and go with it. If it's a mistake, then correct the mistake, no big deal, right? Like that version of self is the higher version of self. That higher version of self is good at getting up on time and going to bed early and eating the right foods and having that disciplined structure that is required to build the life that your higher self is capable of having and capable of sustaining. And so we know we have that seed level in us. We can feel it and we can sense it. We're like, I know. You can envision it, can't you? You can envision that higher self, that healthiest, most beautiful, radiant, in shape version of yourself that feels the best, that like is able to like get the chores done, that can go after the dreams, that can have follow through and consistency and stick with it and have faith and believe and be patient and compassionate with people and really be in tune with your gifts and your talents and use them and make the most of them. That self is in you, and you can see it, and you can feel it, you can smell it, you can taste it. And you can imagine what that self's life would be if you could be that self, right? Like, oh, imagine the house that you'd be in, and maybe the career that you'd have, and the partner that would be next to you, and maybe you'd have like been successful at making your creative projects take off, and all of that. Like that seed level is within you, and it is in a perfected, whole, complete state in another dimension. That dimension, it's like that timeline has already been created and it's there. And that higher self is like, I've already gone through the steps and I have this all laid out, and this is all in a perfected state, and it really exists. And I'm going to guide you. I'm going to tell you how to get here. So that's what we're doing. This moment that we're in now is when we're merging with that version of self where we've gotten rid of all the BS that's been holding us back. And finally, it's conceivable to begin the process of becoming more like this individual, more like this version of ourselves, and maybe creating a life that looks like that or something close and similar, and being able to sustain the fulfillment of that manifestation. All right, y'all, I think this week is going to give us some good glimpse into possibilities, and I think we're going to start feeling the change happening within, and I think we're going to start feeling so much appreciation. And I think that expressing our appreciation, putting our focus into what we are appreciating about life and about our growth and how far we've come, and declaring that out loud. It's very powerful, and it raises your vibration to declare your gratitude, especially when you're declaring like gratitude to the creator and like talking about how great the creator is. It puts you under this protection of surrounding light, and it shrouds you in blessing. So if anything, the prescription this week is to declare out loud all the things that you're grateful for and appreciative for. And also, so this week is Sukkot. So we have 10 days of repentance in between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, where the 10 levels of the soul, the grid work is being laid, and we're being sort of like tested in each governing dimension of the soul. These are 10 dimensions of consciousness. Now, Yom Kippur comes along and we download the light of that soul. It's like we've prepared the hard drive and now we put all of the operating systems on the computer. So we got the light of our new soul for Rosh Hashanah, or Yom Kippur, which was this weekend. Now, for the next 10 days, this is called the Feast of Sukkot, the Feast of Tabernacles. And if we can stay super joyous and maintain that consciousness through these 10 days, it like maximum turbocharges the light that we just received. And it gives us like magnified blessings for the year to come. So do your best to be in joy this week and in gratitude and appreciation. And don't be disheartened if tests come up. Just try not to be reactive. Try to be really sovereign in the way that you meet those tests. And just remember, like if something's happening that's grinding your gears or seems off or like seems like, oh man, this seems like something negative, I'm surprised this is happening, just know it's a test. Just know it's a test. The universe is trying to like make it easy. They're like, we're going to test you. And you're like, I know I'm being tested, but I'm still an asshole and I can't help myself. I was just telling someone tonight, like at work, I'm like, oh my God, Rosh Hashanah is like 4 days of ritualing. Like you are in like the Holy of Holies. You feel so like on top of the world, so holy, so angelic. 5 minutes at the grocery store, I was like impatient with people. And already like I'm like getting like spicy. I'm like such a wretch. I'm like, after 4 days of like being in constant prayer and meditation, all it takes is 5 minutes in the public to be a complete wretch and piece of crap. So same thing happened again. Like I did not learn my lesson at all. I'm in the middle of Yom Kippur, the fast of Yom Kippur. And we have like 45 minutes break between the morning and afternoon sessions and the evening sessions. I'm exhausted and I'm like, I need to like go out and get some fresh air. Just like take a walk. I feel like cabin fever. So I go out into the park and I forget it's Saturday. So that's going to be like amateur day at the park. And the first thing, and I'm like down in my entrance in my neighborhood, which is like a private entrance. And the first thing I run into is like this couple that's just like strolling along the path. They're like tourists. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to share my walk with them. And so like I like rushed past them. I was like, I'm just going to rush past you guys for like walking with you. So I'm like, okay, don't get annoyed at the people. Just keep going. So I'm like walking down the trail, wearing my white Rosh Hashanah dress, and I noticed that this older couple, like from a distance, is like videotaping me, and they're like taking pictures. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, just they're tourists. Just let them do their thing. Just ignore them. And then they stop me. I immediately stub my toe. This woman is like so excited. She's like, you look like an angel. Like, why am I being so impatient? Like, I'm such a dick. She's like, let me send you this picture. And I'm like, okay, all right. I try to give her my number. It's like not working. And I'm like, my timer's going down. They're wanting me to give them directions around the park. I'm like, I'm not like good at directions. The maps are gone. I'm just like, I think if you go that way, it continues on. I'm just like, I'm starting to get impatient. I'm like, just be nice. And I'm like walking away. I'm like, literally, I'm in the midst of Yom Kippur and I am smudging my new soul with all of my spicy impatience. I am such a dick. I am a hopeless wretch. That is why it's Amazing Grace. I once saved a wretch like me. It's going to take some amazing grace for sure. All the prayers of the world can't help me. Ay. So yes, testing this week. Stick with it. Laugh it off. Do your best. Just remember me. Just fasting and feasting and trying so hard, and then just being the same asshole. So yeah, 100% mercy and compassion coming from here for you. Totally understand. All right, you guys, I am losing it. I am fried, burnt to a crisp from the last couple of weeks, but feeling good. All right, uncover, worship, dharma, stability, and merging. All right, y'all, it's gonna be a good week. I'm feeling it. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. We'll be back for tomorrow's video will be our anchor message, where we will be getting our spiritual lessons and assignments for the week. If you want a head start on the themes of that message, you can follow me on Instagram at Liz_Taylor_Magick. And midday on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so when I post our Monday or our like anchor message, our alchemy message, and the weekend reflection message, the Tuesday's manifestation oracle message is not on Instagram, and then our romance oracle reading on Thursdays is not on Instagram, but our other ones are through the week. And I realized that like the days that I make the videos usually probably aren't the days that you guys see them, because a lot of times I end up making them late at night after work. So hopefully that's not ever confusing, but it is what it is. All right, ciao. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you got something out of it, then please give it a like. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications to be notified of when I drop content. Like the videos, comment, share them. Anything that you do helps these messages get out to other people who need them. So you watching a video and taking an action on it actually makes a positive difference in someone else's life.